Hello everyone. While I feel like it is a little bit early to be doing this, today I'm here to talk about a few reading habits that I'd like to change in the upcoming year and a few reading goals I'd like to work towards in the year 2015. Unlike last year's goals, which I feel like were very list-oriented type goals, the goals that I've set for myself this year are more of the broad variety. First off, reading diversely has been a very important topic in the world of books, in our community, and in publishing in general, and it has opened my eyes to the snowy whiteness of my reading habits, but not only that, my book buying habits. Out of these 65 books that I've read so far this year, only 8 were written by people of color. I think that comes out at about 11%. And out of the 71 books that I currently own, only 6 of them are by people of color, and that just will not do. And while the books that I choose to read for free out of the library are important, unfortunately in our society, money speaks quite loudly. So as I've mentioned in previous videos, after my current Read 5 Before I Buy list is complete, I'm going to take a short hiatus from that project in order to add some color and life and some diversity to my unread books collection. In addition to that, I'd like to see that measly 11% jump up to at the very least 25% in the year 2015. And while I don't feel like I need to defend my reasons for reading diversely, I want to read diversely because I want people like my mother and all other ethnicities to feel represented in literature, and for them to know that their equally important stories deserve to be not only told, but featured. I know that 25% is still small, but I feel like it's a step in the right direction and that I will grow and improve in the years to come. Second, I pride myself on reading a pretty decent variety of genres, but there are a few gaping holes that I'd like to work on filling in the year 2015. The first one being nonfiction. About 11% of the books I read this year were nonfiction, which is an improvement from the past, but I'd like to see that number jump up to 25% as well, whether it's memoirs, essay collections, or any other kind of nonfiction I feel like reading in the upcoming year. In addition to that, I would like to read more graphic novels. This year, about 20% of the books that I'll end up reading will probably be graphic novels, but I'd love to see that number jump up to at least 25% as well. I know that 20% is a good number to begin with, but I'm so eager to read more. I don't know if this is considered a genre or not, but since 2011, when I started actively documenting all the books that I read, I have only read 8 books written before the 20th century since 2011, and that just will not do. But there's a reason that number is so low, and a lot of it has to do with the attitude and approach I have towards reading. I get a lot of pleasure out of just finishing a book, maybe even more so than I do getting out of the entire experience, which has led me to look for books that have been described as fast-paced, page-turners, quick reads, and there isn't anything inherently bad about that, but it has made me avoid things that were challenging, slow-paced, or dense, which that's pretty descriptive of classics in general. But I would like to improve upon that, but I have a complicated relationship with things considered classics because I have this stupid idea in my head that there's this elite group of intellectuals here on BookTube and in the world in general that I need to impress, and the only way that I can do so is by reading classics. And I don't want that to be the motivation for me to read these books, so I don't know how to fix this problem, but I know that I can't set a numeral goal because year after year I have failed these goals because I've made reading classics or reading anything written before the 20th century to be a chore, so I just don't read them. But I'd like to improve upon that somehow in the year 2015. My next goal is the one that I hope to put the least amount of emphasis on in the year 2015, and it is the 50 book challenge on Goodreads. I personally love setting goals on Goodreads because it's a nice, fun way to motivate myself to make reading a priority. Like I said, I would like to challenge myself, as I mentioned in my previous goal, so if I don't reach the 50 book challenge, it won't be the end of the world. And my next goal kind of ties into this one. It is, I want to reread more books. In the year 2014, I think I reread 3 books, which isn't bad, but I want to reread more. I don't want to worry about, like, killing a TBR. I want to read what I feel like reading when I feel like reading it without worrying about, like, my reading goal challenge. For example, I don't want to be tied down to the idea if I read a book in January and I feel like rereading it again in August, I'm not going to get to count it again, and that shouldn't matter. I just want to read what I feel like reading. I don't have a specific number goal for this one. Like I said, I reread 3 books in the year 2014. If I reread 4 or 5 books in the year 2015, I'll consider that this goal was a success. And my final goal is more of a challenge, and I found it on my new love, Book Riot, and it is the Book Riot 2015 Read Harder Challenge, and it is a checklist of 50 challenges to try to accomplish in the upcoming year. I'm not going to read off the entire list. I'll leave a link to the original post, and they have a Goodreads group, so I'll leave that link down below as well. But I'll read off a few of the first ones that are on the list. a book written by someone when they were under the age of 25, a collection of short stories either by one person or an anthology by many people, a book that is by or about someone from an indigenous culture, and etc. I think that it'll be fun, and this is probably one that I will also not put as much emphasis on, but if I could check off a lot of these, I would be super stoked. But I'm not going to put a bunch of pressure on myself, but maybe every month I'll look at the list and see if any of the books that I feel like reading in the near future will check anything off of this list. I think it is going to be a lot of fun. And I believe that those are all of the habits and goals that I want to discuss with you here today. If I think of any more, of course I'll make another video and let you guys know all about it. In general, I want to read books that challenge me, content-wise and stylistically. I still primarily want to read for pleasure and entertainment, but I want to push myself a little, even if it's just a little nudge in the right direction. As always, please feel free to share your thoughts on anything that I shared here today in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow with a new video.